All my R's, all my J's, welcome back to R and J Reviews. I am R, and this is J,
And I'm Jay. Hi, how's it going, everyone?
and we are reviewing Once Upon a Time, episode 14, Enter the Dragon, the Maleficent backstory everyone's been waiting for since season one.
Yeah,
And,
and
and also, before we even get to this as a cut you off, we're also the flannel team today because we're wearing both flannels. So I just want to say
that we
R
are.
and J's and we're
Enter
flannels.
enter the flannel. Am I right?
Enter the flannel. Yes, that's exactly what this is. Enter the flannel. So anyone who has watched this at a later point in time, leave a comment below to let us know your thoughts on this episode. As I'll say at the end of it, I'm telling you in the beginning too. So let's talk about Enter the Dragon, Joe. You said you had some thoughts.
Yeah. I liked the dynamic. I liked the structure of the episode more than I liked the execution of it. I would say. Um, I liked the idea of the parallel that existed between Maleficent trying to get Regina back to the dark side,
The dark side, yeah.
and vice versa in the flashbacks and in the present day. And it was a nice parallel that they told there. I love that structure. I thought it served for a cool storytelling experience. However, still not sold on the Queens of Darkness or whatever they're called, the trio, the Three Stooges. But I like it. It is intriguing to see one Rumple's plan coming through. I know you're not a fan of Rumpelstiltskin. However, I
Nope.
did like, even if it was predictable and we saw it coming a mile away, him disguising himself as Hook. That whole scene was a lot of fun, and I love his plan and how it's coming into fruition. And I love how he's hyping up this war and that sides need to be taken and everything. I think that is really cool. However, the Three Stooges still not sold.
That scene when Rumple as Hook said, call the Dark One and it'll work, and it didn't happen. That was the second I went, oh crap, that's him. He's the second she walks away, he's gonna turn, he's gonna change, he's gonna smile. He's gonna smile as Hook. There's gonna be some magic smoke, which there was, and then we're gonna see Robert Carlyle. And I just like, oh crap, Rumple's winning again. And I hate to say it. Actually, no, I don't. I love to say it. At the end of the episode, when Hook disguised, where Rumpelstiltskin should be described as Hook, disguised as Hook, goes back into the shop and is like, "You gotta take a pirate oath so we don't tell anyone what happened." Which I'm like, "Shut up! Like I'm so over this." But I loved when he pretty much like is asking Belle, and like him and Belle aren't friends. Hook and Belle aren't friends, so he has no right to ask her like, "Why do you like Will Scarlet?" And she's like, "He makes me feel happy. He's not like Rumple, who's just a bad guy." Like, oh my god, even though she didn't know, she gave him those daggers and those shots that I appreciated because I can't stand this guy. I can't stand him. So Belle may not have known she insulted him, but I like Belle in this episode for that. I was very happy for Belle. The Three Stooges, Queens of Darkness, not on board with this episode. There's something about them that's not intimidating, and particularly Ursula, unfortunately, because I feel like out of the three, she's probably the most intimidating one in Disney's canon. But with this episode, I'm not seeing her being that scared because she didn't do anything, and neither did Cruella, and Cruella was my favorite at this point, at that point in time. And now Cruella did nothing. She barely spoke, except for the fact she enchanted her car. So how does a woman who talks to dogs enchant a car?
Because once upon a time.
Well, it says in the synopsis her powers are persuasion over animals, not the ability to like be like an evil queen magic like Maleficent and Regina. So I thought that was kind of funny, but that was the only thing Maleficent did. We didn't even get to see her do it. And Cruella, not Maleficent, excuse me. And then Maleficent, you mentioned the parallels of Maleficent, and I thought that was really cool with Maleficent versus Regina, and then Regina versus Maleficent in Storybook. I thought the flashback was the better part of the episode than the Storybook part.
I would agree. I would definitely agree there. This episode served its point pretty much. I don't think it went really above and beyond. It kind of sold its point to get us from A to B. A little trust has been built with Regina, or has it, and she's in on it with them. So, and it pretty much served that point. It told us that story. It told us Maleficent's backstory. It didn't really give us much more, than what was necessary.
I like the backstory though. I mean, I really liked how Maleficent. We see her; she's this broken human being, and then we see Regina kind of fix her, and I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah,
And
we saw Sleeping Beauty back.
yeah, we saw. Now this is the fun part. Once Upon a Time likes to do this with names. I feel like we've done it before. I can't reference it, but Briar Rose is what the fairies called Aurora in Sleeping Beauty, but her real name is Aurora. So it's like they took her alias and made her mother, and they made Aurora obviously the actual princess that we know of.
Right.
So I thought that was interesting. I guess they were too lazy to give the mother her own name. It was not original. They gave the Wicked Witch of the West her own name. They could have made up a name for the queen if they really wanted to. I liked King Stefan. He was pretty cool for like the 2 seconds we saw him.
Yeah, he was already better in those 2 seconds than the guy who played King Stefan was in the movie.
Well, the guy who played King Stefan in the movie couldn't act.
He was terrible. But
this guy was better.
Although this guy sounded like him.
I think it's like he has to be that gruff,
Maleficent.
gruff sounding voice.
Like he sounded exactly like the other guy. If I closed my eyes, I would have thought it was same guy just from the voice.
I would have pictured him too, in all honesty, if I didn't see him.
Yeah, the voice is very similar, but I think we're going to see a lot more. I think he might play into the whole. He's probably the father, or was going to be the father of Maleficent's child. So.
You mentioned the child. Now, in last week, we saw or we heard this horrible thing that Snow White and Prince Charming did to Maleficent's baby. We don't know what it was. We don't know if this baby is still alive. We don't know if they killed it, which I doubt they did. It wasn't referenced once. It was supposed to be this big thing. And where is it? Where's the baby? Who killed the baby? Or who got rid of the baby? So I was like, why isn't skipping that? That bothered me too. But I did like in Storybrooke, Regina and Emma, how Emma is like, no, you can't go to these 3 witches because they're crazy, they're evil, they'll do something to you. And Regina's like, I got it, chill out. And even at the end, like Regina left her, I think she's a BlackBerry, which is so funny to have a BlackBerry. She left her BlackBerry and wrote a message, I got this. And I'm like, all right, well, at least Emma and Regina are on the same page. Like, they care about each other. But I don't know. There's something about these 3 queens in present-day Storybrooke that isn't grabbing me as much as I thought it would.
It's okay. I understand they're villains. They're made to look like they've lost so much. I get that. However, they're not intimidating. They need to do something to. I'm sorry. I'm not one for just kill off this character, kill off this character. Kind of kill off someone just to show power. Do something that shows their power. Show what they can do. They still look like the 3 Stooges. They lose all the time. We get that, but they just look stupid and silly. They're not doing anything to kind of gain credibility back. They talk about this plan they have. That's all fine and dandy, but kind of build up to that in a way. Don't just mention the plan and still come off as stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if stupid is the right word, but I can agree with that. I would use a different word. But they just don't come off as intimidating.
I say stupid because they're made to look like losers. They get outsmarted, they get beat, and that's part of the story they're telling. Okay, that's fine. But do something to have them gain some credibility here. Even even with the Rumple thing, it's Rumple's plan. It's not theirs.
Right, he was barely in this episode. He was pretty lackluster.
They're puppets. He's pulling the strings on them, and that's why they're not intimidating.
I bet at the end of this season he's going to kill Cruella, Ursula, and he'll probably kill Maleficent. I mean, maybe Maleficent will live. I can see Cruella and Ursula dying, though.
Yeah, it's a little iffy with that. I don't see that dynamic sticking together much longer.
You mean them as a cluster?
The 4 of them. Yeah, I don't know. I like the idea of this war coming, and
I like that. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, if it was executed in a better way, and they brought some more villains on here and made this really a huge war, that'd be really cool. But I don't think they're gonna do that.
No, well, I mean, Jafar is trapped in a lamp. Zelina's dead. Ingrid's dead. Cora's dead. Peter Pan's dead.
They don't need to be big ones. They can even bring in some smaller ones, like Bo Peep, and just have her kind of there as
Oh, I
background.
forgot about her. I forgot about Bo Peep.
Yeah, just bring in some background villains. Just to have numbers. I mean, make this, if they're going to say this is a war, make this seem like a war.
I liked how Regina referenced how the villains are taking a page out of the hero's book as they're talking about the book, and she said, they're teaming up to get their happy ending.
Right.
And Regina then said, we have to take a page out of their book and break the rules. So I like that. And then we pretty much talked about this episode in review really quick. I mean, it wasn't like it had like all these amazing plot details. It was Emma didn't agree with Regina infiltrating the Queens of Darkness. Then the backstory is Regina made Maleficent feel better again. And then pretty much the end of the episode was probably the best part, I would say. Just because or not even the best part, it had the cliffhanger, and that was it.
Yeah, they brought
Elon Bailey returned.
Yeah, they brought back Pinocchio.
August.
Yeah. Who was...
I guess it's the same person, technically.
Yeah. He was... I liked him when he was on the show. I wanted him around longer. However, he served his point, and to bring him back now, even if it is just for one episode, I don't know.
The biggest thing with him is Emma likes August, or she liked August.
Yeah.
So
but
who knows?
I have a feeling he's not going to stick around. I have a feeling, oh, okay, he served his purpose. Boom, he's a kid again. I think they're going to do something like that.
I think Elon Bailey, who plays him, is actually a pretty busy actor, so I don't know if I'll actually be able to do it just because of his other commitments. Maybe they'll just write him in for this purpose and write him off to the side.
Yeah. Plus, I feel like they don't want him because they have Hook, and they're kind of they're not the same character, but they're kind of playing into the same role.
Well, they're both like kind of outsider type thing. No one really
Yeah, they're these fairy tale character love interests of Emma.
Yeah,
so
I mean, it ended like that.
Next, they'll bring back Christian Grey.
God, and then Christian Grey against Graham.
No, we will never see him back, and we'll never see the Mad Hatter.
What's he? We'll talk about that later. I don't even care.
Captain, he's Winter Soldier.
Oh, that's him.
Yeah, Sebastian Stan.
I didn't realize that. Yeah, Christian. There's no way they're gonna bring back Sheriff Graham, Jamie Dornan anymore after 50 Shades of Grey. I can't imagine ABC. I can't imagine ABC would want him back.
Yeah.
Just because of that movie. But that's an opinion. That's not a true fact. So either way, the episode was kind of a mediocre, boring one. I actually thought the week before was a bit more engaging overall.
Like I said, has some good ideas, some good structure to it, but not executed.
Well, the problem is with an episode like this, if you have a good storybook, if you have a good flashback and fairy tale end, you need a decent storybook progression, and it didn't really progress too much.
The thing is, it's not standing out as a season worth remembering. And they don't need flashy characters. They don't need the Frozen characters. They don't need Peter Pan. They don't need any of that. They just need some solid writing, an intimidating villain or villains, and some intrigue. And I don't think they really have any of that going on right now.
I know you said they don't need the Frozen characters, and I as much as I would like to see them back, they wouldn't.
No, they were great, but I meant flashy as in like gimmicky. Like obviously, at first the Frozen characters were brought on because they were from Frozen, all that. It wound up being a cool story. They served their purpose.
It did.
I'm just saying they don't need characters that are known. They don't need Peter Pan. They don't need Frozen. All that. They just need a good villain. It doesn't matter who it is. Snow Queen was good. She ultimately became intimidating as a villain.
Yeah, she was great. I loved her.
Yeah, I think it took a little time. I think it took a few weeks, but she got there. So maybe we'll get there with the Three Stooges. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, next week is titled Poor Unfortunate Souls, which any Disney fan knows is Ursula's song, which means it's Ursula's backstory. So she did something to Captain Hook in this preview that we don't know about. So, oh god, maybe we'll see. We won't. We didn't see Ariel, but I think this is when we get to see Poseidon. So we get to see the gods.
Oh.
I know. That's why I went. I went like this because I have a theory. I'm going to get to share it with you, and then we'll end the video. I am thinking that Ursula is not a actual goddess in Once Upon a Time. I'm thinking Ursula was one of the only characters that lived in the ocean that had magic, and she kind of just used the fact that she had magic to extort the mer people and make her think she was a god. Like make them think that she could live a really long time and whatnot.
Maybe.
But that's. I mean, King Triton is in Little Mermaid is Poseidon, but he's not a god. He's just a mermaid with the to control water, you know. So
Right.
I'm hoping it kind of goes in that perspective that she's not an actual goddess. She just extorted those powers,
Right.
which I think actually is maybe
Hopefully.
more. That might make her some more interesting. You know, it would definitely bring her back as being the used cars salesman type person that she was in Little Mermaid to extort people.
Right.
All right, but either way, that is it. Good, good and bad. This was a good and bad episode.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you enjoy these reviews, always remember to click the subscribe button. It's that. I think it's red. If you're not already done it. Click that red button. Always click the thumbs up button if you like this, and leave a comment below. And make sure to subscribe to Agree to Disagree, which Joe runs, or Other Robert, which I run it. As always, I'm R,
And I'm Jay.
and this is R&J Reviews. Bye, guys.